Well, good morning, friends. My name's Fred Green, and welcome to my wilderness adventure. If this is your first time, well, welcome aboard. Well, we had quite the adventure last couple of days. I went down south to investigate. It looked like a steel refinery plant, and we found a car and an alarm. So that is a problem for the future. But what I did do is take the rest of the day, yesterday, to find more fishing and get things all sorted together, and I made a whole bunch of fishing nets. So we've got 4 fishing nets that I am going to deploy this morning. That way, we should be better on our food. Each time I go into one of these fishing nets, they really do a great job of giving me good items so that I can fish in a better fashion. So, we're going to place a lot of these down right here, and we're going to do a science experiment to see if placing a whole bunch of them together is good or bad. But we've got a number of lakes that we can do. I like to keep it close so I'm not walking all over the place. There. Wonderful. Well, we are all set. Like I said, did a number of items together yesterday where I planted a little bit more crops here. Let's see, what do we have here? Ooh, look at that, worms. That's right, I've got leeks and sweet potatoes and broccoli, all sorts of things for us. And I gave it a day for that area down south. So I think what I'm going to do is finish my meal here. I've got a vegetable and fresh strawberry salad. And we are going to take this time to see if we can't grab items, go down south, and maybe get that vehicle. That will help us out so we can start looking at this farm and get animals going. Yeah, I'd rather do that while it's warm, because autumn's going to approach soon. And then, well, winter follows autumn, if you're aware of your seasons. All right. For our journey, I've got that empty gas can and a rubber hose. And a couple of little assorted things that I just could keep on me at all times, especially this empty bowl. We're going to go out searching for good water here. We're going to go out searching for good food before we hit the main road. There we are. And if we can get that vehicle and, of course, dodge the horde that was called by the alarm, well, that will help us to keep to camp for a little bit longer. And I will finish our cabin. All right, a lot of fruit in that spot right there. That's nice. We can get a drink of water before we really head out here. Yep, the idea is to get a vehicle, and there are so many foraging items in that warehouse that we will come back to it. They're not going anywhere. But I want to take care of the animals at that farm, so that way we can bring them closer to our neck of the woods. But to do that, I need a vehicle. It will be very hard to trudge through the thick brush and the deep part of the forest between our camp and that farm. But we're going to adopt all those animals. We're going to make sure they have a nice home before we bring them home. And we're going to make sure I have a nice home as well. All right, my friends, I will see you when I get down to that steel mill. All right, my friends, I am almost at the bend to this steel mill here. What I'm going to do, I ran, so I'm thirsty and tired. So I'm going to sit down and make a fruit salad. And then I'm going to go and find some cars that are safe to maybe siphon some gas from. So this looks like a good spot. I don't think anyone's around. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do that. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then I will hopefully see you when we get further south. All right. Nutritious and filling. I like that. Now if it can only make me add some weight. Okay. Well, let's get our gas can out here. All right, hopefully the alarm drew everyone to the southeast there. It's fortunate because they're not right here, but unfortunate that they're next to the vehicle that has the key in it. So unless we get lucky with another good vehicle, well, this is going to be what it's going to be. Never did check this building, so let's see if it's safe to go inside. I don't really want to climb right now, so some other time. All right. On the hunt for more vehicles, and then we'll see what we can do. Now, what I'm going to do is at least get that vehicle, clean it out with all the unnecessary items we don't want. I might peruse a little bit of the steel equipment that's here, if it's safe. There's a dead one up there. All right, just got to be careful. Oh, there's another one right over there. Okay. The goal is to get back to our camp with a vehicle with a little bit of gas in it. If I can grab a couple of items, that'd be great. But ideally, we want to make sure we check on that farm tomorrow. Make sure those animals are doing all right. Now, keep feeding them while they're there until we have the facilities to bring them back to our encampment. All right, not a soul in sight for as far as I can see. Boy, I'm not lucking out with anyone that has gas. There we go. All right, 10 liters of gas, that'll do. Let's see what we can do to that other vehicle. All right, now we'll just have to avoid all of that other area as best we can since they were drawn over there. Box of garbage bags. Well, I think I'll take that. Empty gardening spray can. That'll help with what we're currently doing. Insect repellent. My goodness. All right. More sacks. That'll be helpful. Oh, that tarp. Let's see how we do here. Okay, not too bad. Great. Whole bunch of them down to the south. I think that's where the auto body shop is. All right. There we go. Okay, this is going to be a process, isn't it? All right, my friends, I'm going to go nice and white here to the north and then see if I can't loop around to that vehicle. All right, would you look at that? Crystal clear. I definitely had to go the white way around. They are all up there in that auto body shop. All right, let's fill up this truck here and see if it starts. Okay, while we're here and nice and quiet, let's go see if we can't find more gas, put it in there, and hope for the best. All right, a little bit of gas in this car. Yep, just a little bit, just a couple of drops. All right, well, I think I found a vehicle up to the north that had good full tank, so we'll use that. 10 liters should get us just fine. All right, quarter tank. All right, my friends, here we go. Oh, success. Look at that. All right. That is wonderful. Tell you what, we'll keep everything here. All right, let's go to these buildings here where we know they're relatively quiet. They look at all of them right there. That auto body shop is lost for a good long while here. Now, in the interest of getting going as quick as we can, well, here, let's see here. There. We'll stop the vehicle, run them around. Let's be smart about it, all right? We know that the noise really draws them, so I'll get as much gas as I can in here, and then we'll see what we can do for the rest of the day. Getting a drink of water and finding... Oh, I hear someone. There we go. Oh, good thing we try to be careful. All right, is it just you, fella? All right, make sure there's no one else around. I'm going to try to draw you over here. right. Hopefully he'll follow that way. We'll go around these vehicles, lose sight of them, and try to get another good gas can full. All right, another full gas can. All right, that should give us a good half a tank. That is plenty at the moment. We've got 2 that are drawn, so let's get our vehicle started up. There we go. All right. Okay, let's use the noise. Draw them back down south here, huh? A whole bunch of them. My goodness. We're going to have to make do with half a tank of gas for the moment. Okay, while we're here, I'm going to definitely have to figure out a little bit of water. All right, we never really went through this building, so let's see if we can't go through. There's a restroom over there. All right, looks like a little kitchen. See if we can't find a little bit more food. Chips. All right. I'll eat those right now. All right. Inside the lunchbox, look at that. Chocolate chip cookie. My goodness. That's right. We are going to get our weight trending up. We're going to eat every single little bit of this and hope that helps. Well, still going down, but yeah, it's a lot of extra calories I don't have to worry about for the moment. Okay. Let's go back in here, see what we can do about finding more of these items. Steel bars and the steel chunks and iron chunks and all that, that is what we are going to try to take here. All right, all the handles and stuff we can make. Not a problem. Steel ingot, we are going to take those. At least those ingots. Because the dead was around, we're going to make sure we offload as often as we can. Steel bars, good, keep those. All right, took a number of those tools there. Let's check these shelves, and then I think we'll make it back to camp. And that is that for today. Steel bars. All right. Oh, my goodness. All right, let's see if we can't grab as much of this stuff as we can. We are overloaded. I didn't see anyone else out there, otherwise I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Turn the flashlight off. Let's really make sure we're alone before we put stuff in the trunk. Great news. Okay. That is a lot of good stuff, my friends. Well over 10 steel bars, steel ingots. We got some garbage bags, concrete powder. Look at that. Twine, some tools. Oh, this is wonderful. All right, my friends, that made the drive back here much more reasonable. Now I mark this place on our map. And I'm going to park and stop the car right here. And we are going to leave all that steel right there in the trunk just for the moment because we just don't plain need it. At least not yet, anyway. Okay. All right, my friends, so what I'm going to do is organize my inventory a little bit so I can bring what I need back to camp, keeping the steel items in here, knowing where it's at. And then I will see you back at camp before nightfall. All right. All right, my friends, made it back to camp. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get all my items put where they need to go for the moment, collect items from all of these fishing traps, see if we can't do some good fishing tomorrow morning. Now, what do you think about that? All right, my friends, unless something happens, I will see you then. All right, good morning, friends. Hey, we're going to try our hand at fishing. Found a number of good items, crayfish and little bait fish and all of that, a couple of frogs, so we will fish for the morning here, cook up a good meal, and around lunchtime, we will go out and use that van, go to the farm, and make sure those animals are doing all right. That's all we're going to do, is just take care of them over there and make sure they survive and are breeding until we get ready over here. All right, my friends, I'm going to be lazy, and I'll let you know my catch when I get them all. One of these days, we'll have to build a dock or something. Really get out the deep water of this lake. But for now, I think we've got a good quest of finishing our cabin and making sure that all of these animals up at that other farm are taken care of. All right, small white crab. Good, couple of small fish. Okay, not a problem. I tell you what, we are going to get stuff cooked up right now. Put the fishing rod down. We've got 5 tadpoles, so we'll do that more tonight. All right, 3 fish, a little bit of frog meat. I'll use the frog meat later. And I'll create a bait bag here. That way we can keep it a little separate. There. Now that we've got a box of garbage bag. All right, this rubber hose and empty can we're going to keep, and this gardening trowel we'll keep in the van, or the truck that we've got. So let's get all back there, and we're going to go visit this farm here while we've got a whole bunch of daylight here. Now, I should be foraging right now, but right now I'm going to just single-mindedly focus on this and make sure my inventory is nice and light, because we're going to have to bring some of these items back to camp so we can keep a nice, good storage. All right. We made it back to this farm here. So far, it looks pretty reasonable. Okay, let's check on all these animals. Make sure that their water troughs and feeding troughs are all filled. I meant to bring a bucket of water and I, forgot it back at camp. That is too bad. All right, I don't see a lot of water in all these, so we might have to come back at some point. All right, looks like there's water there. There's hay around. The pigs are a little bit more long-term, I think. Well-fed, not thirsty. Okay. Yeah, I should have brought that bucket empty and filled it up with cow's milk here. Sheep are doing all right. All right, well, they're all doing well. Great, well, that only took about an hour or so to get here and check them. And there is plenty here, so if we are desperate for food, we can grab one. And do all that. But we'll make sure we can utilize it by building a hook and all that. So I'll get a forge going. Okay, let's check some items now that I'm nice and light. Another steel bar. Might as well. Car battery charger, nuts and bolts. Carpentry chisel, claw, hammers. Rope, steel, wool. Tell you what, we'll grab that. We'll grab that. We know the hammer's right there. Okay. All right, my friends. Well, let's get back to camp, and we'll spend another day or two there, making sure we build up our house and maybe get some crafting stations sorted out. All right, my friends. I'm going to grab as much items as I can that we don't need to keep in this cup here, or that we don't need to keep in the truck here. All right, I still have a bit of a hike, so I'm not going to overdo it, but we got a number of steel bars here, so we can really look at getting a forge going. All right, my friends. Well, we made it back to camp, and I've got all my items sorted. I created a sort of a steel and iron bag, so that's what I will slowly put items into. I'll, of course, make some storage at some point. I'm just trying to make sure we get their cabin set. And it looks like we've got a number of items all set up here in our tools bag. There we go. 2 carpentry chisels. Okay, good to know. Eggs. Do we have a mason's chisel already? Ah, there we go. All right, I grabbed some pliers. Very nice. We've got another steel bar here. All right, so my friends, I think what I'm going to do is, while away at camp here, creating another couple of good meals, animals are doing just fine. I am going to get axes together. We're going to chop down a whole bunch of trees, enough to really make sure that we finish our cabin on our next go-around, and I think that is what I'm going to do. A lot of good adventuring we did today, so that is wonderful news. Hopefully, within the next couple of days, we'll get this cabin fixed up, and maybe we'll get a forge going. In fact, let's see what it looks like to get a forge. All right, a primitive forge. It takes a bucket of clay, stone, and a stone anvil, which is easy enough. It's that wood. Now, if we go to a simple forge, it's this wooden bucket. We're going to need a primitive forge to start off with that. So, I am going to work on cutting down some trees, probably creating a stone forge in the meantime. And when we see each other next, we hopefully will have enough resources together to build this cabin, and we'll have a nice good montage for that. All right, my friends. Well, I will catch you on another episode of Wilderness Adventures. So long now. Hey, mates. Thanks for watching. I hope you had as much fun as I did. If you liked what you saw, please go ahead, leave a comment, subscribe, and come back for another video. I really appreciate your time and support. I can't wait to take you on another adventure. I thank you so much.